Loss of life, man, it's just unbearable what everybody went through. Still lays heavy on your mind.
When something like this happens, you don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. We were completely lost. It kind of had like survivor's guilt, maybe.
That's where the heavens touch the earth.
I don't think you go through something like that and don't come out a little different.
It's time to start lifting people up, you know. Man, we came together as strangers and left as brothers.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome in. It is without question a somber weekend ahead for so many Texans. Tomorrow is going to mark 1 year since the deadly flash flooding in Texas Hill Country, the region that to this day continues to heal. Among the more than 130 victims were what's known as the Heavens 27. They are the 27 campers and counselors who died at Camp Mystic when floodwaters overtook their campsite. But sadly, the body of one little girl to this day still has not been recovered. This is Seal Stewart. She attended Camp Mystic. Today, her family says that they still have hope that her body will eventually be found, saying, quote, "We still do not know how we will face that morning, but we know we will not face it alone, because in the wreckage of the Guadalupe River, there are still people searching, still refusing to leave our daughter behind." Our Ken Molestina is in Kerrville for us tonight, heading into this very difficult weekend for so many. And you've got a wonderful story tonight of heroism and extraordinary effort by first responders to save as many people as possible that day. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, Doug, and you know, so many people tried, right? A year after the tragedy, we caught up with a pair of Kerrville police officers who were off duty that night. They were home when they decided to step up and help. They ended up saving a handful of people who were just moments away from being swept away from the river water. They took us to the very spot where it all happened to reflect on what life is like out here a year later.
It's hard to imagine my town, or the town that I live in that I love so much, go through such a devastating event. I mean, it's hard to imagine what it looked like that morning.
He may not want to, but it's impossible to forget it. For Kerrville Police Sergeant Tyler Cottonware and his colleague Detective Ryan Casey, the events of July 4th, 2025 are forever ingrained in their memories. They took me back to the very spot off the river in their town of Hunt to reflect on the moments where they rescued a handful of helpless flood victims.
When you all got here, was it still steadily rising?
Yes.
Or had it sort of stopped? Had it crested?
No, it was rising.
The officers who happened to live near each other had woken up in the middle of the night to discover the catastrophic flooding, and they immediately sprung into action.
And there were a woman and her child on top of the Hunt store right here.
Right over here?
Yes, right there. So got a ladder from a neighbor that lives up the road, and we're able to get them down.
You know, there were people kind of wherever the water kind of brought them there. You know, there's one over here in this area out in the river that was holding onto a tree, and so we couldn't get to him. And then one guy was over here by this building here on an electrical box.
Probably from where we're standing, Ken, the water was probably 50 foot up the roadway here. So, I mean, it was way above our heads.
One by one, they brought those they could reach to safety. They stayed near the other victims they couldn't immediately pull, and eventually, as the water receded and the long hours that followed, they were able to get to them all.
The one little girl that we got off of the roof of the Hunt store, she goes to school with my kids, so I see her at school functions, and she always comes and gives me a big hug, so that's always real nice.
What's that like for you now?
Oh, it's, you know, I'm not a crier, and but it gets me, you know.
Every tragic story needs a good hero, and that's a term that has been extended to you two a lot in the past year. Heroes of that night, at least in saving so many people around here. Are you guys comfortable with that term? How do you feel about that?
No, we're not heroes, and he'll say the same. And you know, it's humbling for people to say that, but you know, I would like to think that anybody put in our situation
Would do the same thing.
Would have done the same thing.
For now, the rebuilding continues as life seemingly tries to return to the calm and to the beauty that these hills and these streams are known for. For Cottonware and Casey, though, there are constant daily reminders of what life is like now.
It's made me think about life, as he mentioned, how delicate life can be in an instant. And moving forward, it really makes you think about the oath that you took.
It brought us together more than you could ever imagine, Ken. Just different people from the community, from around the state, around the nation has been brought together.
And I'll tell you what, that togetherness that you hear about, that you see out here, it's on display everywhere you look around town, anywhere you drive, anyone you talk to. They all say the only way that they're going to eventually get back to normal and get through all of this is by leaning on each other. It's something that they say, and it's something that clearly they're practicing here. A Kerrville Memorial Wall dedication was held earlier today. I want to show you some video of that taken earlier today out here. It honors all of those who were killed in last year's flooding. We're talking families, first responders, and volunteers, everyone here in town. Anyone who's had anything to do with this tragedy showed up there today. Kerrville, of course, is trying to merge tragedy and celebration, kind of a tall order, but they're trying. It is an emotionally challenging task that no one wanted to go through, yet they made the steps to achieve it. Our Marvin Hurst from a city park here in Kerrville for an event they're calling Faith and Fellowship.
The event brought people in Kerrville and the Texas Hill Country together to make steps towards healing, but it became obvious that this could take a while.
The Guadalupe River is one of the parts that makes the Texas Hill Country so great, especially in Kerr County. You know, like I grew up on this river. I spent half of my life literally probably in that water, you know, and it's mostly a haven of happy memories.
There are also pastors and mental health professionals walking around in light purple shirts that say, "I want to hear your story."
Kerrville sought a different flow on Friday night. One, to increase faith and strengthen fellowship.
And just like you can see on the river, it's going to take a generation for the scar to go away. You know, all of the trees and the destruction and the mark that it left on the Texas Hill Country is going to be there as long as I'm alive. We'll never be able to forget, you know, and every time you don't remember, all you have to do is drive by the river and it immediately takes you back.
Organizers had set up just like this last year, before the cloak of night and raging floodwaters killed more than 135. Now they come back to reclaim ground, commemorate the lost, offer themselves and what hurts.
You know, like my family was safe. I still have all my children, you know, and there's members of our community that lost all of that. It's hard to talk about, you know?
Hoping the organized event steers the tomorrow that yesterday stole.
Definitely still healing as a community.
In Kerrville, Marvin Hurst, CBS News, Texas.
And our thanks to Marvin for all of that. Other events, by the way, are scheduled through the weekend. I want to kind of go through some of that for you. Kerrville will celebrate the 4th of July tomorrow. Hard to believe it, but that is the plan, while they are also going to be honoring last year's tragedy at the same time. Tomorrow, the city is going to host what it's calling the 4th on the River. This includes a big fireworks display for everyone out here in the Hill Country, and then a symphony concert will be held to remember the flooding victims. We are also told, we learned about this earlier today, Governor Greg Abbott, he will be in town here in Kerrville, and he will read the names of all of those victims. So again, that is expected to happen tomorrow. Full slate of events tomorrow, Doug. We're going to be here for that, going to be here throughout the weekend, continuing to cover these events and bring them to you here. But just as a quick closing thought, you know, Doug, it is awing, really, to see the strength of the people out here in the Hill Country, how they're trying to navigate all of this pain and all of this heartbreak, and at the same time still celebrate the 4th of July. And not just the 4th of July, obviously we know it's the 250th anniversary of our independence, but they say they will do it. That's that Texas spirit, and that's that strength that so many of these folks out here have exhibited, and that's the way that they're leaning on each other to get through all of this, Doug. But again, we're going to be here for all of it.
And I hope they know that there's an entire state thinking about them tomorrow, despite obviously everything else going on to celebrate the country. Ken Molestina, thank you so much, and our thanks to Marvin Hurst as well. Tip of the cap. Our coverage from Kerrville does continue tomorrow, and we sure do hope you can join us. More stories of how this region is remembering the victims, but at the same time finding their way forward.